DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
All right, everybody, welcome into Fresh Takes with Russo and Felice. Paul Russo and Nick Felice here with you. Hey, we are officially in April. It's kind of crazy. 3 months down, 9 to go in 2026.
Whoa.
I know.
I got some NBA breaking
we
news.
have breaking NBA news. Sure, I'll turn it over to you.
Eric Spoelstra has been fired by the Miami Heat. April Fools. You got it. Couldn't keep the straight face.
I saw one Heat account I followed. Did Terry Rozier has been activated for tonight's game? I'm like, yeah, no. No. But yeah, no April Fool's stuff today from us.
Other than that.
This one's always tough too because like some people actually are announcing like legitimate things today. I've noticed. I'm just like, are they doing like one of those like weird inverse like marketing things? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But either way.
It's hard to get news out today.
Yeah, either way. Look, we got March Madness stuff to discuss. Duke loses, America wins. Final Four. We'll discuss the opening weekend of baseball. It's something we don't normally do, but I thought it's mostly about ABS, I feel like, in the grand scheme.
I don't want to challenge.
I know, you're frightened.
I don't want to challenge.
Well,
I'm scared to challenge.
Well, I feel like unless you're C.B. Buckner or Mike Estabrook, you should be all right. But we got that, and then we will discuss. Okay, so normally for me and Nick, when we go into our movie review time, it's a new movie, but it's been out for a week usually, and we usually see it the second week. We went and saw Project Hail Mary on opening weekend, so I don't know how we should technically tackle it from a review standpoint. We'll discuss it.
Spoiler alert.
But I don't know if we'll do our full thing because, like I said, normally by the time we actually go and see it, Nick, most people have also seen it at that point. So maybe, I don't know, we'll definitely jump into it a little bit. I don't know how deep, though, we'll go as we normally do.
Question?
Yeah. Amaze. Okay, before we get any further, we do have a couple more sponsors to thank, though, and that includes Lil John and Barbie Orthodontics. Dr. Lil John, Dr. Barbie, and their outstanding orthodontic team share a common goal to ensure the overall wellness of each of their patients through their exceptional orthodontic care. Dr. Rod Lil John, Dr. Liz Barbie can be found online at liljohnortho.com. And Auburn Auto Group when it comes to service and selection and service after the sale. I got there. Auburn Auto Group has been the premier destination for new and used car buyers for 40 years. Among the brands offered on Route 5 in Auburn, they include Chevrolet, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Honda, Toyota, and Subaru. And thanks to their wide range of makes and models, you're sure to find your new or used car at Auburn Auto Group. Had just completely, for whatever reason, make sure you get that service and selection after the sale. Inverse that.
You got it.
Anyway, yeah. Sweet 16 Elite 8 weekend behind us. We're on to the Final Four, Nick. A lot of people's brackets officially busted at this point. I feel like injustifiably so, right? The main headline coming out of the weekend is definitely Duke losing, and in the fashion that they did. Classic saying, right? Duke loses, America wins. And it certainly feels that way this week in the grand scheme of it, especially, I think, for people like us.
What is your favorite round of the NCAA tournament?
From, what do you mean?
Like to watch?
So I think because of totality, I really still do love opening weekend.
Yeah.
Just because of like the totality of it. I can like quad box a bunch of games, like it's great.
It's great. I do like the Elite Eight games with it's like the conference championship feel to it. You're one step away from the Final Four. I'm a big fan of those. Obviously the Final Four is great. Championship might not even make my top 3, the championship game.
I agree with you from a certain standpoint.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a great shot by the Mullins kid there. I mean, you talk about one of the biggest choke jobs you've ever seen. And it's one of the most historic shots in March Madness history. And, yeah, if Caden Boozer just holds on to the ball and takes the foul, they would win this game. More likely, he probably wouldn't make both free throws, ice the game. They'd have to go the distance anyway if he just makes one or none. So, gives them a half-court opportunity, and kid chucks up the shot. It's great. It's 2 years in a row. Duke has absolutely choked. The shot kind of gets overshadowed about Duke's lead in that Elite Eight game. Yeah. It was a big lead, just like how they were against Houston in the final. What was Houston last year? Pretty close to that, too.
Same thing, pretty much, I think.
Yeah. Right, yeah. And we talked.
Or I might be getting them reversed. But yeah,
either way, they're about the same. They were both pretty big double-digit leads. And we forget that they had that lead in Elite Eight because the shot kind of overshadows it all. But that's 2 choke jobs by Duke. And, they've had great teams. They've had a star freshman on both teams, Boozer this year, Flag last year. But, as much as I am not a huge Dan Hurley guy, it couldn't happen to a better team than Duke.
Yeah.
We are Duke haters over here. But
certified.
When does the blame have to go on John Shire?
Well, and this is where my next question and kind of thought was going to lead to, right? Is because I'm not going to sit here and act like, what would you do in that situation? Like, I don't know, man. My basketball playing in terms of organized ended in 10th grade. Like, after that, it's been pickup and rec league stuff since. But I tell you this, I'd like to imagine I know I wouldn't be just kind of tossing it up in the air. Yeah, and that's not what Caden Boozer did. Like, he was attempting to pass, but, like, I know enough to hold on to the ball, I think. And I think that does fall on Shire. Like, I'm not saying, look, it's tough to prepare for 100% of the things that are going to happen in a game, right? Because you don't know where it's going to go, but you have to be cognizant of stuff like that. And that does, to me, fall on Shire in more of a, like, did they not practice it at all at some point during the year? Did they? How was the reaction amongst, say, that group of 5 on the court, if that's the case? I think at the end of the day, I can't blame it. Some people are blaming it on Caden or any specific player, even just specifically Shire. I think it's more that collective, like, you just have to be smarter in that scenario, right? You have to be wiser in that case. And that's going to be something that comes with age. I mean, we grew up still in a time where Duke was not one and done as a team for the most part, right? Like, when we were growing up, Duke guys were still, even up until, like, pre-COVID, when you think about, like, Duke was still very much so the way I view things in a 4-year program, right? Like, Grayson Allen was 4 years. I know I'm kind of working back from where I started, right? But, like, Grayson Allen was 4 years, right? And look, Duke has had one and done guys, right? Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving,
but it's a very educated
Zion and RJ Barrett, stuff like that, right? But, like, I know this is really going back to when they first became villains, right? But, like, Leitner and Grant Hill were all 4-year guys. But, like, when we were, like, growing up, Battier, funnily enough, Carlos Boozer, right? J.J. Redick, all those guys were 4-year guys.
It's a very educated school.
Yes.
So, it's not an easy school to get into.
Yeah.
And they like to put their academics, I wouldn't say ahead of athletics, but they put their academics pretty high standards there. And, yeah, they've kind of gone more to the one-and-dones. But
and to that end, too, like, I think it's, like, Duke has an undergrad of, like, more or less 66,500, I think it is. Something like that.
Yeah.
So, like, when you think about them at the D1 athletic level, like, I don't know what the percentage is. I can't workshop that in my head. But, like, it's definitely a higher, the yield of the undergrads participating in a varsity sport is probably on the higher end in a lot of maybe even mid-major Division I programs.
Yeah, but they build a reputation because of the basketball team, and obviously it's a football school now. Just because, it's my team. It's my team, Duke football.
Forgot about that. Big, oh, man, I forget every time. David Cutcliffe guy over there.
But, yeah, no, it's kind of incredible that they are, like, big in the national media like that. Really a small school.
Yeah.
They're a small school.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we're both on that same point then clearly of like where does Shire maybe link into this a little bit and everything. Yeah, it is interesting the way that they have lost though recently, even like at the end of like the Coach K stuff, right? It's been very uncharacteristic for the Duke that we know, I guess, right? Where they are making the small mistakes, right? Like for us, Duke was the epitome of I don't know about fundamentals in the sense of like the way we maybe think of like the Spurs as being the fundamental team like in the NBA with Popovich and whatever, but like when it came down to stuff like that, you knew that they weren't going to mess up in the sense of like they aren't going to travel or turn the ball over or follow the wrong guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like they were going to do the right quote unquote thing. And past, like I said, this is even at the end of Coach K. So I guess we're looking through the lens now of almost borderline 10 years. Like that hasn't really been the Duke case in a lot of cases.
And it's now been 7 years since the ACC won it all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a little bit of a drought for a conference that's usually pretty successful. Yeah. And just, I feel, that's got to be, it had to been a tough night for that Boozer kid. Sleeping wise.
It's probably a tough kind of day, night for both of them in a way.
He had to be thinking
I kind of chuckled that Camden, who was prospect-wise the better Boozer, although I think he is better than Caden, but I like Caden's prospects weirdly better at the pro level, but that's a different discussion for a different time. In terms
Shoots
of,
better.
Well, it's not so much of that, right? Even though he was the one who turned it over, I think Caden has a better game that could translate. You know what I mean? But again, that's a different discussion.
Boozer, the other one, kind of reminds me like an old school NBA player.
Well, who he actually reminds me of is Paolo Banchero, and that's not a good thing.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Again, different podcast really for that side of it. So, other than that, what were the main storylines for the weekend? To me, and it sucks because I very am pro this coach. But I did say this yesterday to somebody that I ran into. I think I'm kind of done with Kelvin Sampson here for a little bit. And it's not a knock. It's just, again, Houston. And look, I get it, whatever. But, man, how many more times can we trust him now in the past couple of years? And look, maybe it's a little bit, and maybe this is a good comparison because, funnily enough, he gets elected to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. But, like, maybe it's kind of like a Mark Few thing where, like, we're maybe being a little bit harsh, or I'm being, in this case, harsh to Sampson when, like, he is still a great coach. It's just
he's never won a national title either, right?
Correct. So, like, maybe this is what it is.
But it's so hard to win this tournament.
Yeah.
And, they made the national championship game last year. Mm-hmm. And if Izzo doesn't have that championship, do we look at him as the same as Sampson?
Well, I already kind of do.
Izzo's,
totally honest.
25, 26 something years in a row hasn't won it.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest storylines from conference-wise this weekend is the Big Ten. If they don't win it this year, I don't know if they ever will.
Yeah.
And the SEC, whoa, Tennessee was your only Elite Eight team. It's kind of a
and they didn't have
lost to Syracuse,
and they didn't have a great showing within that game. To be fair, Tennessee made it a lot further than I thought they were going to within the tournament.
I had them losing Miami, Ohio.
I think a lot of people did. I think I did. No, actually, no. I weirdly didn't. But it was like the next round. Either way. Yeah, it's kind of funny to me. People talked about how it was a down year for the Big East, and maybe this is more indicative of what UConn is right now than is the Big East itself. But look, St. John's made it to the second weekend. They made it to the Sweet 16. They lost to Duke. But, that being said, you had the Big East get two teams through to the second weekend and one to the Final Four. You had two Big Ten teams, and you have a Big 12 team in Arizona, who also, by the way, has not had a national title in over 25 years. So it's an interesting dynamic. It's kind of funny. You want to look into like the the window of this too, Nick. UConn for years, right? Kind of funny too within the context we were discussing Duke a little bit too. But like UConn for years just was a barren program. Calhoun gets there, kind of changes everything with joining the Big East a little bit, but they didn't make a Final Four until the 90s.
That's why.
And then since then, it's just been absolutely insane run.
What was it, 2 years ago when they last won it?
Right.
We were discussing, are they a blue bloods? That's why people don't put them.
Me, and that's why, but to me, they are because of just this success recently. And I think it's kind of funny, too. I had this discussion with a friend of mine as well over the weekend. And, he is seeing a lot more basketball than we have. But, we had a discussion of, like, for me, blue bloods can move in and out and stuff like that. I don't view... And it's kind of funny because, like, for me, even my lifetime, I never viewed Indiana as being a premier program in the sense of the blue blood that people think they are. And, we mentioned some of these other brands, right? Like Kentucky, I would still put technically in blue blood for now, but, like, they probably only really have a couple of years left to really enforce that. But, like, they modeled this way, too, for us. When was the last time Kansas was really at the pinnacle? You know what I mean?
4 years ago,
I guess. But, like, when was it before that, though?
Yeah, they didn't.
So,
wow, yeah.
It's one of those things where I think something can be cyclical. I think other brands are more held on trend. You're right. Take your Dukes for Duke. UNC, I would still put probably technically in the blue blood category still for now.
Yeah, they act like they are.
Probably they're in a better spot than Kentucky in that sense, but, like,
North Carolina.
Look, I don't know. We discussed it a little bit last week. UNC to me is just...
They're trying to get 2 Final Four coaches.
Yeah.
Arizona and Michigan.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Who do you think you are? I am.
As I've said, and I know this is for a lot of people a take that, like, you're going to be like, you're wrong, but, like, UNC's a lot closer than they want to be being a Syracuse than they are a Duke right now. Or a UConn.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the way it is. It is that way for
Syracuse is about to pass them next year.
Hopefully. But, fast forward to this weekend, the Final Four. Yeah, you kind of mentioned the Big Ten's had a really good opportunity for the conference itself here. But the tough part, well, maybe, I don't know, is it better off the fact that they aren't playing each other, Michigan and Illinois?
There is still a great chance the Big Ten doesn't get in the national title game.
That's what I'm getting at.
There's a really good chance.
Yeah.
Like, Arizona, UConn would not shock me at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fight part, too. I mean, I picked Arizona in the jump of this, and, like, cool, for the sake of my ego, I hope they continue on. But, like,
but there's a chance. Yeah. Like, you got, like, if Michigan was playing UConn, you would like that a lot more than Illinois is playing UConn.
Yeah.
But there's a good chance it could be a Big Ten championship game.
Yeah.
Which would be insane. And it'd be really insane if Illinois is the team that does it.
Yeah.
I was saying before Nebraska got knocked out, I was like, imagine if Nebraska is the team that finally breaks the drought.
I love it.
That would have been awesome.
Iowa at this point, too. It would have been funny, too.
Iowa out of nowhere, yeah.
Boy, Thursday night was fun, by the way.
Yeah, those games.
Yeah.
That was the Iowa-Nebraska game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Texas and Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, Purdue didn't make it to the Elite Eight. Another disappointing year for them, but Arizona looks awfully impressive, and they showed it in that game against Purdue.
Yep.
And, yeah, Arizona looks good. Arizona and Michigan, I think, are the 2 best teams in the country. Mm-hmm. And it kind of sucks they're playing on Final Four, but not really, because I just mentioned it earlier. I think the Final Four is a bigger night than the championship game, so it's kind of cool that we get Arizona. And I haven't seen the times. I assume Arizona Michigan's the second game.
Let me double check that really quick for you.
I did see women's UConn and South Carolina are the first game, which is crazy.
Try to get that ratings.
Yeah, right from the jump.
Where ESPN changed it. Okay, there we go.
I would assume that would be the
Illinois UConn is first at 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, not surprised that the bigger game is the second game. Yeah, I was kind of surprised UConn, South Carolina was the first game women's, but here or there.
Here nor there.
But yeah, looking forward. I love the Final Four. I think the Final Four is one of the great sports days of the year. I wouldn't put it ahead of the Super Bowl. I wouldn't put it ahead of MLB opening day. But it's right there.
Yeah, I agree. All right, pick time. Who do you got? Illinois, UConn.
Going Illinois.
Really? I want to. The moxie for UConn, man. I mean,
do you like Hurley?
I have a weird love-hate relationship with him. You know what I mean? He harkens back to like that old school Big East coach in a way.
Oh, so what was that head? That was after was that after the shot?
Correct. No, but this is where I'm getting at with that love-hate thing, right? Where it's just like, but then he does
stupid things like that.
Like that, and I'm like, what are we doing, man?
And he didn't get teed up for that?
No. The ref explained it, said he didn't think it was like anything like.
Also, it's just weird.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. I don't know. The Hurleys are a very intense bunch.
So, that being said, you're going UConn.
I'm going to go UConn. And then Michigan, Arizona. Like I said, for me anyway, I have to go Arizona in that matchup.
I think it's going to be an awesome game.
Yeah. So I guess for me, by the way, I'm predicting no Big Ten.
You just can't see it.
Just don't know anymore, man.
And we have gotten Big Ten season in the title game. Wisconsin, Michigan that one year.
Michigan State even 1 year too.
Yep. They always lose.
2009, yeah.
They always lose.
Yep.
Anyway.
In fact, that was UConn's only loss in the Final Four, by the way. Was to Michigan State in 2009.
Ever?
I believe ever, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Purdue lost the national title as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Arizona until proven otherwise.
And then for me, I'm going to go Arizona, winning it all on Monday. But at that point, I have to. If I picked them before, I got to continue going through all the way with it.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Arizona.
I like that. All right. Big 12 gets a title. It should be the Pac-12s.
Yeah. That would be crazy. Yeah, because the Pac-12's coming back next year. Well,
Pac-12 Big East.
Officially back.
Yeah, so. All right. I'm going to mention quickly here, Nick, again. Got the Gannon hat on. National title D2 game on Sunday at 1 p.m. CBS Sports. Check it out. Gannon's playing Lander for the D2 title. Looking forward to it.
What time's it on?
1 o'clock.
Sunday.
Yep. So, go Golden Knights.
What channel's it on?
CBS Sports.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Are they favored?
I will put them as the favorite, yeah.
You would?
I would, yeah.
Okay. That'd be pretty cool.
It's very funny, by the way. I'll tell you this off air. I'm not going to air laundry out like that. I do have an interesting backstory. So,
Erie, PA, top 5 city in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, it is. I think still technically. Yeah,
we've discussed this before.
Speaking of discussing things before, we got baseball opening weekend in the books. We're here a week out from opening night, technically. Every team is pretty much playing their sixth game today. It's interesting. At lunch, talking with Josh, actually, about this. Durso, shout out. So weird opening day. And I know me and you kind of have similar philosophies on this through opening week. Always tough to really actually gauge anything, right, these opening days of the season. For me, I usually, as I say, I wait 10 days, and then it's normally another week plus. I usually make my decision on a lot of things at that point, right? A lot of stuff moving and shaking. But to me, it was a fun opening weekend, first few opening days overall. I think maybe, too, it just gets clouded by, like, especially for us and me specifically, like, I can't wait. Like, I need baseball, right? Like, I'm ready to go no matter what. To me, the baseball's pretty good, but I don't know. I think we're seeing some of the early season stuff we kind of talked about in terms of like season prediction kind of happen a little bit too, which is interesting. But yeah, what the initial thoughts though, just on the first few days of the season?
So I watched the Yankees-Mariners game the other day. The Yankees were challenging like crazy.
Well, I want to get to that next.
But then there's teams that are afraid to challenge.
Mm-hmm.
You have the challenges. And even if you lose both, you go back to playing baseball how it's been for years. And
then Alex Cora gets ejected by CB Bucknor.
Yeah. But, you know, I want people to be more aggressive. I know it's only 1 weekend. In spring training, you had it, but you didn't really practice it because people don't play the whole game, and it's not a real game. It doesn't mean a lot. So this is like the first week of people actually practicing with the challenge, an actual live game. So I hope people get more aggressive as we go forward. But, yeah, there's so many. Like, It's like they forget that you get it back if you get it right. If it's obvious, challenge. And especially in big situations, like in the 5th inning or something where the bases are loaded, challenge the pitch.
Yeah, I think, that's one of the things I've noticed with the Yankees is believe me, I do not think the lineup is the best in baseball in terms of, like, everybody being a hitter, right? But you can tell, like, the good hitters, right? Like, in the terms of, like, actually knowing where the zone is, maybe not swinging at bad pitches, but, like, Judge and, like, Stanton have been very good about, like, you can tell, like, they're, like, a couple players in the league period who, like, okay, like, that's clearly not a strike. Like, you know what I mean? I'm with you, though. It's interesting kind of seeing teams operate. One of the things I picked up, too, like, the Yankees are on the forefront of this a little bit, who they are aggressive on the ABS, and they've had a really good success rate on it. But, like, they're also selective on when to do it. I do think there's an art there that I'm interested to see how it fully develops through the year. You know what I mean? Like, I noticed this in the Yankee game Monday night against the Mariners, which is one of the more famous in ABS stories right now because they went 5 for 5 or 6 for 6 technically on Mike Estabrook behind the plate, and they began chirping Estabrook and everything, like trying to get it right, and there was some drawing back and forth, but like I'm intrigued to see how it kind of evolves through the year in terms of that, because like some of these umpires are going to get audited hard, and they already are already, obviously. We name dropped 2 of them for all the wrong reasons so far, which it shouldn't be this way, but we know it is. Like the human element of this still is, to me, ginormous. Like these umps very clearly, some of them, like their egos cannot handle the fact that these calls are getting overturned.
Well, the thing about balls and strikes, it's a hard thing to do. And I don't think there's anything you could compare it with any other sport, because we've had challenges in baseball.
The only thing in a way I could compare it to is like certain like plays in the NFL, like whether or not there's like actually pass interference or hold. Like I always jokingly say, but it's true to a degree. Like you could probably call holding on every play on the line. It's just a matter of like, where is it actually crossing the line?
And then
you know what I mean?
Basketball, you could call foul on every play, which is crazy.
Well, I think you are right though in the sense of like, it is literally not so much like every play in the sense like we're talking about with the other sports, right? But like in order to have the play, you have to make a call on that. I
saw someone say this. I forget who it was, and I agree. I don't know why the umpires don't hear the pitch comm. It would make it a lot easier to call it if you knew where the pitch was supposed to go. Obviously, pitchers can get wild. But if the guy knew that it was going to be a curveball down low, it'd be a lot easier because he knows where to look now.
I guess, but my pushback there is if that is what you're preparing for, then what happens if the pitch doesn't end up there? You know what I mean? Then you kind of get into like.
Oh, you're still looking, but you're.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just viewing it from the perspective of like, mind you, I ump the Little League, but like, I know for me, like I would be, if I knew where the pitch was supposed to be and that's not where it ended up, I would probably be very out of position to make that call on the other side. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I just think it might help a little. Obviously, they're still going to make bad calls. It's a hard job. Yeah. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And then you got people complaining that they're a centimeter off. Like, give them a break, man.
Well, it's not even so much that, but like if you challenge it and you get it right, then like I don't know, you're getting the call right. You know what I mean?
It's fact. Yeah. It's there to help. And if you get 2 wrong, you don't deserve to get the pitch right.
Right. That's the other thing too that I find very interesting right now is like some people are complaining about that. I'm like, but like that's the way it is essentially in every sport. Is like as long as you get your challenges right, you retain.
I think it's crazy. It's going to be hard to keep track of. Yeah. I think every player should have one challenge. And I know it's hard to keep track of. But you wouldn't have people scared, I don't want to let the team down if I get it wrong.
Right.
If you all had your own one, there'd be none of that. But we'll see how it goes. Isn't there in the minor leagues it's 3 challenges?
No, they're 2.
It's just 2.
Yeah.
I like to see.
As far as I know, it's 2.
I like to see. I remember the Met announcer. I forget which one it was. They said if you keep your challenges and you get to extra innings, you should get an extra one. And I think once you get to extra innings, just one. I'm pretty sure. But if you had your 2, you kept them throughout the game, you should get up to 3.
I don't know. That's not how it works with timeouts in other sports. You know what I mean?
I don't know how timeouts work in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's like they force you to use timeouts.
Yeah. They use it or lose it. We have that in high school around here.
True. Well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Before we get out here, we will do a mini movie review because, like we said, we did a rare thing and saw a movie on opening weekend. So if you're planning on going and see Project Hail Mary, 5-second spoiler alert buffer begins now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Rocky died and then didn't die.
I love how you jumped to somebody that's like 2/3 of the way into the movie. When was the last opening weekend movie we went and saw? Endgame, maybe?
I went to Oppenheimer. That wasn't with you.
No. I think it might have been,
Oppenheimer and Barbie.
it might have been Endgame as a group.
Yeah.
But obviously Project Hail Mary is not going to be...
Ooh, did you watch Deadpool Wolverine with us?
Oh, we did go opening weekend for that.
That was a great
That's right, I forgot about that. We did go opening weekend for that.
That was a great experience.
Yeah. So, obviously, I don't think it was as... It's so weird phrasing it this way, because I won't make it sound like the theater was barren, besides us, when it was not. But, like, not as packed as I would say the Marvel movies, but also...
Definitely over half.
I would say probably over 3/4.
Yeah. There was people in there.
Yeah. We also saw it at 5:45, so that's a tough time in the grand scheme
on a Friday.
Look, I don't think it was a perfect movie, but it was as damn near close to it, in my opinion, as it could have been in terms of plot, execution, all that stuff.
Heartfelt.
Yeah. Hit all the emotions. And I will say, this is where I do agree with some of the people that talked about this. It is a proper sci-fi movie. Little to no CGI, right? All kind of the old FX kind of gone style, the way they do it. Look, I'm not saying he's on the same level as, like, say... take your true A-list actors in the sense of, like, whatever.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling killed it, I thought. Just killed it. And I don't know. This is a tough part. Again, this is why we do the spoiler alerts. I don't even know if you know this. But, like, the movie itself was supposed to be 4 hours, and they had to essentially take out, like, an hour.
That's what I heard.
And you could kind of tell in spots where they had to, like, kind of rush things. And we talked about it, I know, on the car ride home about some differences in the book. Like, I looked up, like, certain time stuff because, like, we knew there was, like, a whatever. And you could tell for movie purposes, they had to kind of close up some windows in terms of, like, not having it be, say, 22 years, right? They made it more like 15. But, you know, I thought it was just a really good job. Essentially for... not exactly obviously true, but especially for essentially a single person movie, essentially.
Basically, yeah.
Like, it was really well done. And that's tough to do in today's game, man. Tough to do.
I thought the scene when she was singing the Harry Styles song was great. Mm-hmm. It was very emotional. The one that sent Ryan Gosling to space. And it's definitely... Did you ever watch Interstellar?
Yeah.
It's got similar Interstellar vibes.
I've been over that, yeah. Not a big Interstellar guy.
No. But this was great. Just his relationship with Rocky, the alien, was just great. And you thought both were going to die at some points in the movie, and they both lived. And he ends up with Rocky and teaching his students over there because basically the girl there at Earth, and Earth basically just threw him away like he was trash.
I mean, kidnapped him.
Yeah.
Literally.
And put him in a coma.
Yeah.
And sent him away.
My guy Carl, I got some beef with Carl, the bodyguard, man. They
had some great scenes at, was it Lowe's?
Yeah.
Home Depot, wherever they were.
Skittles?
Yeah, it was great.
Question.
You know, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. So at times I got a little confused in the sci-fi movies but I understand the premise of what was going on. It's just, how they did things. It gets a little confusing for me.
Will you fist my bump?
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Question.
And a lot of questions. But overall, great movie. Great music.
Yeah.
I thought, not really.
Yeah, really well done.
It was good.
Yeah, really well done. And now we move on to the Mario movie for us, I guess. What a start,
Yeah, it's a little bit of a jump-ish, but it's both space movies. Mario Galaxy.
If it wasn't for the fact of the effort I have to put on my shoe, I was going to throw it at you for trying to connect that.
I hear Star Fox is in the movie.
I'm more of a Captain Falcon guy.
More of a Roy guy.
Of course you are. You like Game & Watch, too.
Yeah, the ice climbers. You get two of them.
It's true. It's true.
Looking for that Smash Bros. Movie someday, but not the greatest reviews I'm hearing so far of Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, it was weird. I ran into Matt at the gym yesterday, and he said the same thing. And I said to him, this is why you have to be like me at this point. Don't look at the reviews going into the movie. You go with a much better mindset of what it could be.
And Project Hail Mary had great reviews.
Yeah, they did.
But yeah, highly recommend. It's a great movie. You said they cut a lot out, but it's not too long.
It's almost 3 hours.
Okay, it's long.
My legs were, I wouldn't say asleep, but they were feeling
Good
it.
popcorn, though. You didn't like the popcorn?
Time to have that discussion. I don't know if it was fresh.
Ooh.
Bad. Not that I don't mind a nice, God, this is going to sound weird and bad. I enjoy not stale popcorn, but popcorn that's kind of been out. I enjoy it.
Okay.
But there's also a fine line when you put the butter on it, where it gets.
I think you just got a bad batch.
Maybe that's why I just need to stick with my cookie dough bites and.
They'll never let you down.
No. So, all right. Well,
great movie.
Yeah. All right. I think that's the podcast for today, Nick. Next week we'll have college basketball to kind of wrap up. I'm going to Bristol next weekend, so I guess preview that. But I don't know. We'll see what else kind of pops up between now and then. So, yeah, Nick, who are you shouting out until that point?
I'm shouting out my cousin Kyle Murphy.
Happy birthday.
Nope, not his birthday.
I was close.
He finally won Jerry 1 fantasy basketball.
He got his 29th Jerry 1 title.
No, it's his first Jerry 1 fantasy basketball championship. He's been playing 7 years. Been very good. Finally won.
Also took him 3 days to make the potato salad.
3 days. He beats his cousin Jack, also my cousin.
Phrased it.
And Kyle wins fantasy basketball, and he's one of 6 people still in the hunt for the Jerry 1 Tourney Challenge in the men's tournament.
It's true.
So could be a special 8 days here for Kyle.
And a richer 3 days.
Shout out.
And
congrats.
All right. Well, we will sign off on that note until next week. You can find fresh takes on fingerlakes1.com, the F1 YouTube channel, and all major podcasting platforms for the audio feed. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. We'll talk again next week.